Well, it's having a substantial impact on students' career choices. Many students, when they apply to law school, indicate an interest in doing public interest work or perhaps working for the government, and that's increasingly harder and harder to do as students accumulate more debt. So here at the U, I'd say about 3/4 of our students finance their education in part through debt, and the average debt is about $82,000 per student, and that's just law school debt.
That affects your employment decisions. You're less likely to work at that legal service agency. And you're going to be looking more often at, gee, I never really wanted to go to the big law firm, or I never really want to work in a corporation, but how am I going to pay this debt? And of course, those job opportunities are not as available as they used to be. So yes, law students are being squeezed.
There's no question that the upward march of tuition is a problem, and I wish I had a crystal ball or knew the answer to it.
I may be in the minority on this, but our student debt levels are from law school debt somewhere in the, it's under 100,000, but it's somewhere in the 60,000 on average to 85,000. That's probably the range of debt for our students who are borrowing heavily during their 3 years of law school. And I still think that's a pretty good deal. If you ask yourself, are you prepared to invest, let's say, $75,000 or $80,000 in a career that might extend for 40 or 50 years?
We're trying very hard to do two things, or at least two things. One is to increase the amount of scholarship money we have available for students. That's one of our 2 or 3 biggest priorities for fundraising. If we can make more scholarship dollars available, then presumably students will graduate with less debt in the first place. The other thing we're focused on is trying to increase our loan repayment assistance program efforts. The more money we can make available for the LRAP program, the easier it will be for students who do accumulate debt but then want to go into public interest, either to make their payments or to get some relief from the total amount of debt that they have.
We are making scholarships a top priority in our fundraising. And we've had some great success on that. Even this last year, even in the down economy, we've raised over $1 million for a new scholarship program. We have a long way to go still to make a big difference in that area.
The 4 law schools were all part of the Minnesota LRAP loan repayment program. We have our own loan repayment program. We have a special fellowship program for what we call our Roach Fellows. I also think it's part of a bigger problem. Should the states be valuing public defender services more than they do? Should the feds be valuing public defender on the other side of the legal service? It's a salary issue too.
I think what may happen more often these days, and it's going to be interesting to see, is that going to end up delaying people's entry into the profession, that they're not going to be thinking about law school until they've maybe had some employment experience, had a chance to save some money.